No part of your music, mariachi.
Yeah. You know what I love? I like Miguel because if you look at expression like, damn, grandma, put some panties on. You're like, shit.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Felix was so proud of himself tonight because he came in and that's the first thing he said. And it would be funny if Felix would look at you and be like, did you hear what I said? I'm like, yeah, man.
Knife. Yeah, you hear me? You hear me?
Laugh, bitch. Yeah. But am I in love with that Coco? Is Goodwin in love with that Coco? We don't know. We got to see. I'll know this. A lot of people, they were confused when that Coco first came up. People, a lot of people out there, especially our Mexicans, they said, man, I already took this ride. I done seen this shit.
Didn't I already see this movie?
Yeah, yeah. And it's funny, too, because some people like saying, all right, you know, the reason why I think I saw this is because Pixar just fucking with people now. Because Pixar saw a certain movie that was out there. Certain movie called The Book of Life. It had this whole motif of Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. And it was also a CG animated family film. And Pixar came to 20th Century Fox and told them, all right, you know something? Y'all got some shit. I give you that. Your movie, it has a look. It has style. But we think y'all fell in one little spot right there. And that's a script. You know, just a few pages.
Just a small part of a movie.
Yeah, just a few. Let us just take a few rewrites here and help you out and show you how it's really done. You know, putting a hand of the pros out there. I mean, we do have a reputation for moving people.
Just a little one.
Just a smidge.
just a little bit.
Let me get you in love with the Coco. So they came out here and now they've released their film. And I will say this, because a lot of people are going in, they're giving Book of Life a bad rap. Book of Life, one of the producers on there is Guillermo del Toro. And they meant this as sort of a Halloween type film. You know, this is something that's supposed to be like a fun adventure, a Halloween theme, where with Coco, you have more of a theme about family. How much do you love your family to the point where you just let them rule your life? You know, that the Mexican culture, it is about La Familia.
And the chocolates come out.
I kept expecting Vin Diesel to show up. Family.
We familiar. I'm not familiar with you, man. Get the fuck out of here. Actually, you might be Mexican. I don't know what the hell you are. But this centers on a small boy named Miguel who lives in Mexico, loves his family, and doesn't want to do anything to hurt them. Even though his love of music, he's like, look, I love music more, but if I try to play it, my family's going to be on my ass. And the reason why they don't want him to play it is because his great-great-great-great-grandma was left alone by her husband with her child because he wanted to go off. And like all other musicians, he like, look, I've got to be me. I can't.
Right.
I'm an artist.
Yeah. You want to just stick to you?
Yeah. You know,
I'm not just here for you. I'm here for everyone.
Yeah. The world wants my gift. And, you know, that's what artists do. They go out and they just fucking like suck. You know?
Yeah, and the women fall in love with him and then say, okay, now I want you to stop doing that thing I fell in love with you for.
Yeah.
It's always that power struggle.
Basically, baby, you're cramping my style. And so after that, they said, Miguel, it's a tradition in this family, no musica.
I know I'm not supposed to love music.
No music. No music.
But my great-grandma Coco's father was the greatest musician of all time. Papa. Ernesto de la Cruz. One day, he left with his guitar and never returned. Now my family thinks music is a curse. Great-great-grandfather, none of them understand me. I'm supposed to play music.
All right, who's in there?
I'm sorry.
Like, what the fuck?
Shit.
Oh, man. Oh, jeez. Oh. Who put all that Molly on the floor? You know, don't worry about it because if you really want to think about it, I mean, this is a fairy tale. This is a fable. You know, when Miguel wants to play music so bad, they pretty much turn him into a criminal. He breaks into a mortuary, steals what he thinks is his great grandfather's guitar, and decides, because his family won't let him have a guitar. In fact, grandma said, hey, let me see that shit.
I know. What you doing? Crane.
Hey, do you know
Here,
this song?
play it now.
You know, and so he's forced to steal a guitar. And once he does that, what he doesn't realize, well, when you steal from dead people, you get cursed. And you are taken from the land of the living to the land of the dead, which actually, it could be worse, because when you go to the land of the dead, it's just one big colorful party that's going on there. Everything's covered in Cheetos. You know,
Man, the Land of the Dead is cool.
Yeah.
Land of the Dead is very cool, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Now, here's the thing with this movie right here that I think that they've done well. First of all, let me see if I put this up here, because one of the things that I have to let everybody know that, first of all, I don't want to come in and try to misrepresent anything, because a lot of people saw me from that Justice League review, and most people thought I was Indian, but a few people said, you know, he's super hombre. He's a Mexican. You know, if that was your first experience with Double Toasted, you might have thought I was from Mexico. But
Okay.
I don't even believe myself. It's like, really?
It's like somebody said that to you, and went like, oh.
I thought you were from Krypton.
I know. Look like you like Super Mario more than you do a Mexican. But, you know, so I'm not coming in and trying to appropriate Mexican culture. I'm not trying to say I know everything, but we are in Texas.
Yeah, we are.
We are in Central Texas.
We are
Chances
inundated with Mexican culture.
Yeah, if you at least know a Mexican. They either they did your yard or something, you know, or they came in, you ate at one of the taquerias around here.
They helped set up your studio.
Oh,
they
they did.
They live with you.
Yeah, I love Mexicans, and the thing is, a lot of people have Mexicans as friends. One of my best friends growing up, I went to his house, and I went to a few Mexican people's houses, and I've noticed that there's a few things. For one, Coco is the title character in the movie. You see it right there. And when you go to a Mexican home, that's what you got a few things going. Something's cooking. Univision's playing. There's a soccer game going. Tejano is coming from somewhere.
It's all you can never find the source. It's like, where is it?
Yeah, you open the refrigerator. Where's that goddamn accordion coming from? And they always got some old person in the house. You don't know who they related to, but they got them like shoved over in the corner.
They don't talk to nobody.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like Hector from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, it really is. Well, they try to talk. They make noise, and you always say, "Hey, man, what's going on?" They're like, "Don't worry about it. Man.
Chill,
Don't worry about
chill.
it. They all right. They all right." She always talks. Don't worry about her. She always saying something. You know? And that's what we have here in this movie. Coco is the great grandmother, and it is the great grandmother. Yeah, and she is the title character, right down to the old person in the Mexican household. They have that going on. But the other thing that I thought it was impressive is that, as I was saying, you know, when we are right here in Texas, you know, we have parts of town that are just Mexican culture. You know, they have the colors, they got the people, they they have the food, and that's the thing about this movie, man. This movie got the culture right. I'm not claiming to know everything about Mexican culture. I am not Mexican, but from what I've had in my experience, it felt very authentic.
Well, yeah, they got that. And the other thing is the matriarchs are usually the big heads of households, so they're usually managing everything. And shoes are the most deadliest weapon in this culture.
Man, that is one thing black people and Mexicans got in culture. Women will use that shoe to knock your ass out.
Yeah, the abuela with the chancla.
The abuela.
That she can throw and have it come back like Captain America's shoe.
Yeah, that's another thing with black people and Mexicans. We always got that one relative, usually an old woman, who knows you can be 10 miles away from the house. If you fuck up, they know where you are, and they're going to come there to pop you upside your head or the person they don't like.
Show me what you got, muchacho. I'll be your first audience. Miguel!
You know, I love that not only did he get scared, but he gave him the guitar back. Take this shit, man.
I don't want to die.
Like it was a drug deal.
Abuelita, what are you doing?
Leave him alone. Doña, please. He wants no part of your music, mariachi.
Yeah. You know what I love? I like Miguel because if you look at expression like, damn, Grandma, put some panties on. You're like, shit. I don't know you that well, Grandma. I love you, but I don't need to see all that. You know, it's great character building at the beginning of the film. Great world building with the culture and everything they have right. And like Martin said, you know, they went out and they did their research, and it shows. It shows very well. You said that was Cheech Marin as the. Yeah, man. Yeah, you know you ain't gonna have no film that's mostly Mexican without having Cheech up in there.
No, that's not, because he only had a small part. Because the whole time I was like, this might be the first animated film that's Hispanic that doesn't have a Cheech Marin voice. And then there's some Border Patrol guy who pops up and he's got one line. I was like, man, y'all almost made it.
Almost. You're almost there. In fact, Cheech came in. Stop.
Yeah. This production cannot continue unless I'm in there.
It's not Cheech Sankton. Cheech Marin needs to eat.
It's a contract I signed with Hollywood.
Give me that microphone, Vato. But the real beauty of the movie kicks in, though. It's like the culture is great, but the real beauty of the movie kicks in when Miguel is shifted to the afterlife, the afterworld.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's where we get everything that we're, you know, you think of Dia de los Muertos, and you think of mostly like black and white, people in skull outfits and whatnot, but they capture everything that's festive about the Mexican culture, man. You know, the fluorescent colored buildings and lights, even the animals are festive in the same kind of color schemes. And also, I just love the whole theme of a boy and his dog. Miguel has a dog named Dante, a little stray dog, hairless dog. He got the mange or something, you know. But the dog is his companion because, you know, in these animated films you got to have a sidekick, and it's great to see Miguel enter this adventure with the theme of a boy and his dog. And almost every kid, especially every little boy out there, can relate to this.
You gotta stay with me, boy.
I'm getting high as fuck right now. If the afterlife looked like that, I would just kill myself.
Yeah.
Go now.
This is the first movie I can think of where it's like, man, I want to die. And I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah, I want to be Mexican and I want to kill myself. So I can go to this. This is...
But then you'd be Catholic and that'd be like the worst sin possible. So you'd never go there. Yeah. That's the paradox.
Sorry, amigo. Pull that trap door button. But yeah, man, it's... And again, I took my wife because she loves the animated movies, you know. Does she? Yeah, she does. That's so cute. So we went together to see this at the screening, and when this part came on, she really does treat me like a little kid sometimes because she looked at me and she's like, "Oh, look at my babies," because she said, "You look like a little 8-year-old," because I was just looking at the screen like, wow. Like I was walking around in that land. It's real. Yeah. But yeah, it's a gorgeous film, and you know this is something where we've seen it done before to varying degrees, but I don't think I've ever seen it done this beautiful before. At least not in my experience. Maybe I haven't seen any films like this. I'm sure they're out there, but I haven't, and this is my first experience, just being in awe of the artistry in the design here.
Oh, I don't think there's anything like this.
This point is where it really kicked off for me, because at first, when it was first started, I was like, okay, I'm interested. Let's keep it going. But once they got to the Land of the Dead, it really took off in a great way.
I became that little kid. I left that little kid for so long, and I'm like, I am that kid watching the screen right now.
It's not just a pretty place. It has a series of operations that they stick to throughout.
Yeah. You know, and I thought when I got there, I was like, well, shit, you know, this looks so cool. These skeletons know how to party. They know how to do it, man. And it was at this point, though, that I found my funness for the movie starting to wane. And I was like, this is a shame because I'm really enjoying what I'm looking at right now. And the reason why is because of those skeletons. And the skeletons, the reason why they were getting me down a little bit is because, for one, it was for a lot of obvious gags. Like we're talking about, they have a structure. I thought that was cool, but a lot of them were very obvious in the sense like, okay, you have a border patrol gag, you know, crossing the border gag, but I can let that go. That's no big deal. But the skeletons were doing just these very routine physical skeleton jokes that were always falling apart. They will always magically pull themselves back together, and they would just keep doing that and doing that. And it's things that we've seen with cartoon skeleton humor before.
That Border Patrol scene I thought was done really well. I was like, oh wait, how are they going to stop? Oh my God, that's horrifying.
Yeah. You know, there are, because you know why that worked, because there are consequences.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what I mean. That's another thing too. When they saying it feel like this world had a set of rules and it was fleshed out there. There are consequences to everything that happens in this world. If something happens to you here, something could go on and continue later on.
I wasn't getting belly laughs, but I was still enjoying it the whole time.
Yeah. I guess there were just certain things that really irk me. Like, you know, there was actually a skeleton with a little skeleton hand DJing, you know, mixing, you know, completely with the, you know. I'm like, all right, you know, this is.
Well, what else is he gonna mix?
No, there was like
we talk about this all the time. Right?
Yeah.
You know, we talk about how there's another DJ scene. We've done that with every animated movie where they've done that. We're like, oh, you're doing this. So I don't think that this gets a pass for that. You know, where it really started to get on my bad side was where you had the comedic sidekick come in, Hector, and Hector came in and Hector was doing everything that I'm saying. First of all, he was always falling apart. He was always doing these gags with his bones, and then he was so goofy. I was saying to myself, okay, you know what? Hector's cool right now, but how long is it going to be before Hector starts getting on my goddamn nerves?
Oh, you like De La Cruz? He and I go way back. I can get you front row seats to his Sunrise Spectacular show. I'll get you backstage. You can meet him. Can I at least get my costume back? No.
I'm gonna wear that shit later. Go out and be fabulous tonight. Dios de los Muertos, baby. You know, and he was bothering me a little bit. I will say, at least he wasn't that Hector. You know?
he might have been. Nobody knows.
Yeah. He might have been that dude when he was alive. Yeah. You're talking about that dude who plays Hector and everything. I was like, well, at least he ain't that Hector right there. But right after that scene, they had a couple of more comedic beats with him, and then that character had a backstory.
Yes.
And that the more we learned about that character, the more that character became a real person. Granted, with no skin, but you know, they became like an actual personality. Something that I had I only find myself more amused by, but I had sympathy for. You know, I felt like I related to this character, and I also had to think about who was doing the voice. And I didn't know the voices in the movie when I went in. So when I saw that it was Gael Garcia Bernal, I was like, man, this dude is serious as fuck. If you ever seen him, I mean, look at him right now. He's like, this shit ain't funny. But the way that I appreciated more the humor that he had in that character, because I did not know that was him.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah, he's like, what is it? Mozart in the park.
In the jungle.
In the jungle right now. You've seen him in some other movies. A lot of indie films that have come to America. A few Mexican imports of film. And I was like, man, you know, this guy, I not only have appreciation for his voice acting, but you don't even know how many twists and turns happen in this film that start to add more depth to the movie overall.
Well, to your point, for what we find out about that character, it makes, looking back at the scenes where he's goofy, it makes them sad.
It does. Yeah.
It does. It really does. This character is like, it's very sad, man. And it's almost like they set him up to be a very goofy character. And, you know, that's cool. I had a lot of appreciation for what they did with this character the more they went on. As the movie goes on, you really the story sucks you in as you see Miguel, who is in this land of the dead, where his living family are holding him back and holding his dream backs, and it's not until he's hanging around a bunch of dead motherfuckers like, hey, you know, be free, man. Yeah, now you can be who you are, and you really are touched that Miguel is in this land where not only can he be Miguel, but also he's starting to see not only other people, but personalities, relatives that are not only encouraging him, but are like him. Mm-hmm. And it's really something when you start to see him. It's very moving when you see him see a relative that he has like looked up to for a while. When he's always thought that he was related to. First of all, it was a big hero of his, Ernesto de la Cruz, who you see right there. I was a hero of his. When he finds out, and this is not one of the reveals. It's
like, in one of the trailers.
It's in the trailer. It's like 5 minutes into the movie. Yeah. He finds out that he might be related to him, and when you see the look on his face, where it's like, wow, I get to meet not only my hero, but familia, this guy who finally understands me, who loves me. It's a very moving scene, and I love that bond that they have between Miguel and Ernesto.
Why have you come here?
I'm Miguel. Your great-great-grandson.
I have a great-great-grandson?
You're like, bitch, I died to get away from kids. How the hell did this happen?
I ran out on my family.
I always catch up with it, getting that afterworld child support. And it's cool too because when Miguel finds out that that's his great granddad, he gets to walk around the afterlife talking about, yeah, the biggest, baddest player up in the afterlife. That's my granddaddy, y'all. Yeah,
He gets to be a mooch.
yeah, he does. It's like, yeah, because his grandfather, he was, and that's what I'm talking about. Where you get to see how Miguel just fawns over this who, you know, he was probably the biggest actor in Mexico before he died, and you see Miguel just watching him on TV.
I
studying
have
him.
to sing. I have to play. The music, it's not just in me. It is me.
I love the way they do that, but he puts in the VHS tape and he's watching these old shows and they're all scrambled in black and white. And being that he's watching it on VHS and they never give you any indication of other technology in here, it kind of makes the movie a little timeless too. It really does have a feeling that this could last for a while. And just Ernesto is a great character too, man, voiced by Benjamin Bratt. And
Yeah, he does a fantastic job.
because not only does he have to like play that character, but he has to sing. Remember Me is one of the biggest lines, our biggest musical numbers in here, and I'm like, damn, Benjamin Bratt got some lungs on him, man. If that is him singing, which I think I read that it was, but they do like a few musical numbers in here, and all of them are pretty great, I thought. We're talking about, you know, these actors who are doing a great job, actors that you know, but that kid, man, Anthony Gonzalez, I don't know if he's somebody who's a known name or if he's a fresh face. So he's brand new. He's a newcomer here. Thing about that kid is that he does a perfect voice for Miguel because he's not sassy. You know, he's not precocious. He's just he sounds like a naturally funny kid. A kid who says things and he doesn't even know that he's being funny.
You're all really out there.
You thought we weren't?
Well, I don't know. I thought it might have been one of those made-up things that adults tell kids, like vitamins.
Miguel, vitamins are a real thing.
Well, now I'm thinking maybe they could be.
The other guy's like, you sure related to this dumb man?"
He's a little slow.
I didn't say he was smart. I just said he was funny because he's dumb. But that kid is, and I don't know if he's the one that's singing. If he is, that kid has.
He's got a great voice.
He has a great voice on him, man. I don't know. This might be the next Antonio Banderas out there. Even though Antonio Banderas is Spanish, I know. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. But you know, this good kid though. Good kid. He got a bright future ahead of him. All the complaints that I had before this movie, and they weren't there. It was a small window where they came in. I said, "This is going good. Nothing extraordinary." But now it's at the point where it is starting to seem like your average animated family film. That turned around quickly. I could not tell you where anything was going with this movie after a while. I could not tell you anything.
Yeah, you're right. There was a point where it felt like, okay, well, we're going through the motions of these kind of adventures. And then it was like, wow, well, that was really kind of, okay, that was deep. But okay, back to the adventure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wow. Okay. I need a moment here.
Oh yeah, and there were moments where I thought they were going for a gag, and they hit me with the deep shit.
Oh yeah. Well, now that was the great thing about this. The writing's fantastic, and the story is a good story too. And they did a good job of putting you in Miguel's shoes. Like every time you come up to something new, he sees something new, so you feel the same way he does. And when he learns something or he assumes something, you feel the same way. You're like, oh wow, they did a good job putting that in there.
Conflict wise, it puts Miguel in these situations where I was just like, I don't know how he's going to get out of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because his family back at home is holding him back. But most of his family on the dead side are like, yeah, you can't do what you want to do.
Be yourself, but don't.
Yeah, they're always giving, man. They are always giving little Miguel these ultimatums everywhere he goes, man. Most everybody's like, yeah, do what you want to do, but there's always one asshole who's telling him you can't do what you want to do, and it was making me mad. I was like, he's just a child. You know, you don't do no child like that.
Well, to the point where the movie starts, when they were all like, "Oh, it's all about family," I'm like, "Man, fuck family, yeah." I know that show's culture and all, but man, I just can't live like that.
I really was like that too.
Yeah, but by the end, it was like, I get it. I'm with you. All right, I see what you're saying.
I didn't get it. I was about to call child abuse on this. About to call child protective services on this movie. I was mad, man. I was like, man, this is a boy. Leave him alone. Y'all
Can he live?
Yeah, y'all are psychologically abusing this kid. You fucking him up. I was really angry doing some of this movie, and it's a good thing. And I'm gonna tell you something. Pixar. What I love about Pixar saying, you know, yeah, I know your kid is 9 years old. We don't give a fuck. They gonna get a lesson up in here today.
That's true.
Life is hard. I'm not gonna say anything, but I'm gonna say there are moments. One particular moment. If anybody saw Inside Out, there's a rough moment in there, and kids were looking at their parents like, is it gonna be okay? And they're like, fuck, I don't know. I'm crying like you. And there's a moment like that here where it just is what it is. Life is hard. Death is even harder. And there are moments in here where characters they don't have the best fate. They don't have a happy ending.
Yeah, there was a side character.
Yeah.
Who had something happen to him, and I was just like, oh my God.
And that scene was like 5 minutes long. You're like, why is this touching me this way? I don't know him.
I mean, and it got serious too. It was no jokes were made.
Nope.
Nobody laughed. The movie stopped to have a moment of silence.
Yeah.
And it introduced the new rule, which was part of the story, which was good.
Mm-hmm. That is true. I'm gonna tell you the biggest thing with this film that really got to me, and when I'm saying got to me, what that choked me up was it was the ending. This ending, it puts this movie up there with the best Pixar classics. Pixar knows how to come in, and Pixar knows how to put these themes in there, these emotional themes. They have these sweet moments mixed in with harsh or inevitable realities. You know, life is good, endings can be happy, but reality is not easy. They can even be cruel. The reality of life can be cruel, but they do say that is all a part of life, and they make it a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And this movie's what you don't have to be of a certain culture. You don't have to be the Mexican or Hispanic culture to come and appreciate this. I think that the themes of family here, some of the harshest, bittersweet themes of family, are going to touch the memories of a lot of people. Because when I was there, a lot of people were crying, not sniffing. Crying.
Dude, my whole theater was bawling. Like, I turned around and looked, and it was just, oh, Lord. And I was sitting there next to a little white girl. I was like, no, I can't cry in front of her. She's going to call me a bitch.
A lot of people crying. Pansies. You know, hey, we can all be evil like you, man.
Yeah. We have hearts.
I knew everything that was happening. I knew your bitch ass was going to cry.
I knew it was. I know there are a lot of people crying right now. It is touching.
This just goes to show me that this is when Pixar really does get all the bullshit out the way, all the corporate financial bullshit out the way, and really concentrate on story. They do wonders, man. Cars 3, Finding Dory, all these sequels, get away from me, get them out. I don't even want to see that right now.
You don't want Incredibles 2?
I don't. I'm even feeling like I don't want that. Anything with a 2 or further after that, I'm feeling like,
hey,
I'm right there with you.
We are back at the moment now where, you know, Pixar is doing what they do best. When I say storytelling, they are doing emotionally complex storytelling, putting you on this emotional journey, and it seems like it's so easy. You just moved by it. And this is back to the days where this is a celebration when Pixar movies come out. When you see a family movie doing more intricate storytelling than a lot of other live action movies out there, I have to go the full mile. There are some things near the end I didn't like. I mean, there's like 1 or 2 tropes that I really hate in movies. I can name live action and animated movies that do this, and I don't like it. I hate it. But that goes to say where it was so small, and even they did that so well that I can look past it. I'm giving this a better than sex.
Oh, damn.
I did it. What's that?
I didn't think you would do it.
I went on the win.
Necrophilia for the win.
Give me them bones. Yeah, man. If you move me that much and I'm crying and that story is that good, and I see the amount of care that went into it. Yeah, man, I small complaints.
Every scene in this movie actually matters, and for the most part comes back and maybe either twisted to a little variant or just completely changed to mean something else, including one of a very specific scene in here. I don't want to ruin for you guys, but yeah, this movie had me sad crying. It had me happy crying, and I walked into this seeing a little kid outside crying because he had to be dragged out of another Coco showing. I was like, that ain't gonna be me. And then like an hour into this, I'm like, oh no, they got me. They got me again. There is not anything in here that I would say detracts this from being a fantastic movie. It's a better than sex for me.
Thank you, brother. You about to make me cry right now.
Boy, y'all hand out those better than sex like they're now-laters.
Like we horny as hell right now. Like we just took Viagra or something.
Yeah, man, I had read before going to see this how people were coming out crying from it. It's like, oh, this is going to make you cry. And so much of this, I was like, if you say so, I don't know, man. And that's the beauty of this movie is how it just sneaks up on you. So that, yes, by the end, like you said, Goodwin, I was sad crying, I was happy crying. And just when I thought, all right, I'm done, that's it, they stuck one more in right at the very end. Like, you sons of bitches.
Man, that ending, that's where they get your ass.
But yeah, it's one where I was like, hey, man, you were complex, you showed me things I haven't seen, and you made me cry. That's the recipe for better than sex.
Wow, man. I think that's a record that we've had 3 better than sexes.
Wow, we any chance we can get 4?
From the Heartless Wonder?
No, hell no.
Hell no is right.
He ain't giving up that dick that
This isn't it.
No, there are not enough clowns in this movie.
There's one sitting here.
That said, I like this movie a whole lot. There are a lot of twists and turns here, but I felt like I could see a lot of them coming, and I think it's just because I feel like they borrow some story beats from other Pixar movies. And the ending, even though it didn't make me cry, you can't deny that it is touching. So overall, it's definitely one of the better movies this year, and I give it a full price. It's not better sex for me, but it is a full price.
All right, he's into that clown dick.
I felt like they borrowed a lot from Up, and they borrowed a lot from WALL-E. In particular,
Really?
yeah,
I guess we can't say without spoiling.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm
all right,
very curious
all right.
about those
Well, I'm curious to know that too.
We'll ask when you jump you in the alleyway.
yeah.
You're gonna be looking like your picture right there. We're gonna vandalize your face.